Hi there, Becky here from 168 Fitness. Over the past few weeks, I've been sharing with you my own personal journey to getting fitter and stronger and more toned for my sister's wedding at the end of September, where I'll be bridesmaid. I've talked about what to do when you get back from holiday, if you've overindulged a little bit or if you've had a bit of a heavy weekend, and what you need to do to get back on track. And I've shared with you sort of my top tips that I actually do myself to make sure that you are still working towards your goals but can enjoy life as well, and that's what I always aim to achieve. This week I'm going to talk about how you can sort of overcome emotional eating. And it's something that I've had to work on myself. It's something that I know clients come to me a lot and sort of ask, or even if they don't realise they're doing it, it sort of comes up and we have to address it head on in order to help them to overcome it and move forward with their weight loss goals. So I do think a lot of you will find this information useful. You might not even be aware that you're doing it, so actually it might be a bit of an eye-opener for you, and you'll be able to use the information I give you to kind of improve your progress towards your weight loss goals, or even health or weight maintenance this summer. So it's something, the reason why I'm talking about it is actually quite relevant, because earlier this week, after we had our mini heat wave, I was feeling a little bit hungover at the start of the week, and it was unfortunate because actually I hadn't been drinking. I'd had a couple of drinks on the Saturday, a couple of drinks on the Sunday, but not an excessive amount, so I wasn't expecting to have a hangover on Monday, but I'm thinking, I'm putting it down to sort of dehydration, not drinking enough water, being out in the sun all day on the Sunday, and yeah, those couple of drinks as well won't have helped. So yeah, I was feeling a little bit rough on the Monday, but why that's linked to sort of emotional eating is being hungover, or that feeling of like sicky, yucky, that I often get on a Sunday if I've been out on the Saturday and enjoyed myself a little bit too much. That is my kind of one of my main triggers for eating not so well. When I'm hungover, when I'm feeling a little bit rough and a bit sicky, all I just want is carbs and greasy food, salty food, something to make me feel better. And I know I'm not the only one, and I know a lot of you will be agreeing with that, and actually having a nice burger on a Sunday, or Sunday roast dinner, like topping it up and having lots of roast potatoes and things like that, they're all perfect hangover cures. I'm sure you've got your own special one as well. But yeah, it's what I find myself doing. So on Monday, it was a bit unfortunate that I was thinking I'd working back to healthy. I'm usually very, very good and healthy Monday to Friday, and then sort of Saturday, Sunday, sort of let myself off a little bit and have a bit of what I fancy. So Monday I wasn't expecting to be craving sort of burgers, chips and all of that lot, and I just want to talk about really how I overcame that, and how you can too, because as well as other kinds of emotional eating, so I'm talking about the kind of eating where you're eating not for fuel, not because your body needs energy to fuel you for a certain task or to get you through the rest of the day, which is most of your eating, sort of breakfast, lunch and dinner. They're sort of fueling times, and making healthier choices based on sort of how you want to fuel your body and giving it the right kind of energy. That's how you should be eating most of the time. But the emotional kind of eating that can occur in many forms. I'm talking about if you've had a stressful day at work, so you come home and you order a takeaway rather than having the healthy chicken stir fry that you were planning to have, all the leftovers from the night before. Or if you are feeling tired, which is a little bit of the hangover kind of effect of tired or sick or something like that, and you crave the salty food or the sugary food to give you that high, or the carbs, the kind of the unhealthy food to make you feel a bit more satisfied, and like when you've got that hollow pit inside you from the alcohol or that hangover feeling, then that's what will help you overcome that. You think anyway, having the the stodgy food, or the kind of greasy food. That's that kind of emotional eating. It can be when you're feeling unhappy and you're looking for a pick-me-up, and you choose the kind of the chocolate bar or something that's going to give you that nice feeling inside, kind of the happy feeling of fat and sugar. And it is only short-lived, though. We all know that you have the chocolate bar, and then maybe 15 minutes later you're back to feeling a bit rubbish again. You haven't really actually cured the problem. So that's emotional eating. I'm sure you've got your own example of it. If you can't quite think of it right now, I'm sure you have done it before, but you're probably not quite conscious that you've done it before. So it is quite good to get conscious of it and be aware of when you're doing it. And it often, like if you're hungry as well, that can be an emotional eating time. If you're hungry and you go to the supermarket to get food, you might go in with the best intentions in mind. You might have thought, I'm having a healthy week, but you get hungry, you go in the supermarket, you're probably going to come out with something that you didn't expect to, whether it's chocolate bars, crisps, sweets, something at the checkout that you've picked up because you think that'll give you that fix, it'll make you feel better. And yeah, it's really hard sometimes to overcome that, but it can be done. And that's really what I had to do. What I'm sharing with you is how I did that on Monday when I was feeling a little bit rough. I had to stay focused. I had to really stay focused that actually Monday to Friday I pride myself on being very, very healthy, and I try and take that into the weekend as well. I don't deliberately sabotage what I've done in the week, but I do just let myself off a little bit and have a bit of what I fancy. But Monday to Friday I make sure that I get back on track. So Monday I had to be really determined that I didn't want to go and go out for lunch and have something else that I wouldn't usually have in the week. I like to have Monday as a proper healthy day. So I had a healthy breakfast. I had my porridge that I would usually have. I made sure that was substantial enough that it was going to keep me going for the morning. And then lunchtime I had my food shop delivered, so I only had healthy food. Fortunately, I'd ordered that on the Sunday and it was delivered on the Monday, so I only had healthy food in that order, and I didn't override that and go and get anything extra. I just stuck to what I'd got, so I had sort of a ham salad wrap, and I just had a little bit more. What I kind of do is I had a little bit more of the healthier stuff, so I had a little bit more ham than I usually would in my wrap, and that did just kind of keep me going and made me feel a bit better, giving myself a little bit extra protein and yeah, without overdoing it really. And then yeah, later on in the day I sort of started to feel better. Obviously I had loads of water. If it was dehydration, you need water, so I drank loads of water as well on that day, and I just really stayed focused on knowing that it would pass, the hangover, that feeling, that sicky feeling, it would pass, and that food wouldn't have made me feel any better. I knew that because when I had my meals I was kind of okay, and then I kind of got feeling rubbish again afterwards. So I knew that any kind of food wasn't going to help me. So the key thing is to stay focused, to know that they're two separate things, that eating and like the fuel you put in your body is not it's not attached to that feeling of whether you're stressed or you're tired or you're hungry, or you're hungry is probably the slightly different one, but yeah, emotional eating, then it doesn't have to be like that. You can still eat healthily even when you're tired or even when you're stressed, or you can or you've got a hangover or whatever. You don't have to eat rubbish or eat treat kind of food to when you're in those situations, and actually you do better for not doing that. You're not going to solve the issue by eating. So if you're tired, obviously you need to get to bed earlier, or if you're stressed, you need to look at what's stressing you out and address that accordingly. Food isn't going to solve those issues. It might do for the very, very short term, but actually going forward it's only going to make it worse. So yeah, so a bit of a long-winded one this week, but what I'm aiming to do really is to give you some advice on how to do it, and it is basically being more conscious and more aware of the emotional eating that you may be doing yourself. I wanted to bring your attention to that, even if you didn't realise you were doing it. Hopefully you do now. And then just all I can say is that you've got to stay focused. You've got to make sure that you're keeping those as two separate things. Whatever it is that's the stressor or the event that's occurring that's making you want to eat, keep them separate. Food, stick to the plan, stick to your goals. Make sure you're on track with your food and address the stressful thing or the hangover thing or the tired thing separately. Don't use food to address that issue. So hopefully that helps. If you've got any more questions, always happy to help and advise. Have a look into it a little bit more online if you are interested to sort of read about emotional eating. It's a lot more complex than I've talked about today, but it just gives you an idea and helps you to know that actually I'm no different to yourself. I will have to face these challenges myself in some situations, so you just got to stay focused on those goals, and I'll see you next week to talk more about progress and how I can help.